Well, shalom, and welcome to the Roundtable Talks. My name is Yeshaya Gruber. My esteemed guest today is a leading scholar of the texts of the Second Temple period, including connections among the New Testament, the Qumran scrolls. Professor Loren Stukenbrook is professor of New Testament at Ludwig Maximilian University in Munich. His many publications include The Myth of Rebellious Angels, source publications and commentaries on such texts as First Enoch and the Book of Giants from Qumran, co-edited with Chris Keith, Evil in Second Temple Judaism and Early Christianity, and recently co-edited with Daniel Gertner, the Encyclopedia of Second Temple Judaism. Professor Stukenbrook, thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm very glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Can you tell us just in a few sentences about these sources, these different sources we've mentioned here, and what they say about this particular theme of rebellious angels coming to earth, this entire myth of interaction with humanity?
Yes, briefly, whereas Genesis 2 and 3 emphasize that the beginning of sin, one could say, or disobedience really to God is with humans, however one wants to configure that with Adam and or Eve. The Book of Watchers emphasizes that things first went awry when angels decided to go down from heaven and to take women as their partners or even wives. Lots of details here are disputed, but that was one option. That option is elaborated in the Book of Giants because this union between heaven and earth results in the reproduction of giants who are part angel and part human. And when God decides to intervene as the giants begin to destroy all aspects of creation, including humans and one another, they are destroyed either by killing one another or through the flood. And in the flood, the angel part is not destroyed, but the human part is. And they exist on as disembodied spirits who perhaps are jealous of humans for having survived the flood and want to re-enter then afterwards the existence they once had, an embodied existence. And so it explains why humans are especially subject to the invasion of problems, and as was believed, problems that are resulting from demonic invasion. So
Please finish.
Yes, the sources are not entirely consistent. The Book of Jubilees then says, wait a minute, that may be just too one-sided a view. Actually, human sin had a lot to do with this. So that plays a much greater role. And later on in 1 Enoch, the epistle insists that evil does not come from outside this world, a la demonic or angelic coming to earth, but rather humans have created it. So we can see there's a big debate going on that is multidimensional and that is trying to get at reasons why the world that we live in is in such chaos.
Now, you've written also about how this connects to a particular way of looking at time and history, the past, the present, and the future. And here I'm thinking partly of your intriguingly titled article, How Much Evil Does the Christ Event Solve? Yeah. Where you say that writing about this primordial time with giants and angels that become demons and so forth helps to give confidence for the present and the future, to see God's role in the world in a particular way. And I wonder if you can tell us about this particular way that God's role came to be perceived that was somehow connected to this story of the fallen angels.
Yes, that's a lovely question and actually a very important one. This way of reading Jewish apocalyptic literature, in particular the Enoch tradition, but also other traditions as well, is a response to a one-sided Christian approach to Jewish apocalyptic that ironically many Jewish scholars have also found themselves sharing without really thinking or reflecting on what they're doing. Namely, that apocalyptic is all about the future.
Hmm.
And if there is to be a solution to the problems of this world, the solution from the vantage point of Jewish apocalyptic is, well, we throw up our hands in relation to this world and we wait for a future one in which God will set things right.
Hmm. Hmm.
So many have then said that whereas Jewish apocalyptic then just thrusts a solution to the world's problems, both individual and social, into the future, here comes Jesus and here comes Paul in the New Testament, and they say, wait a minute, God is actually present now. And God has just done something definitive in this act of Jesus' death and resurrection. And in Jesus, he himself is then mediating God's presence. And both in a way that Jews could never have imagined, because for them it was in the future. And now we have all of this replaced by the notion of a presence of God. And so by default, then, Jewish tradition is thought to be without God's presence, whereas when Jesus comes into the scene, and Paul reflecting on it, we have now to do with God's presence in a way that Jews could never have imagined. Now, Jewish apocalyptic was not simply about the future, it was also about the past, and therefore about the present. The past is an effective past in which God has acted definitively already to defeat evil. We live in the presence knowing that the evils we face and have to deal with are defeated powers. This in turn delivers hope and offers a perspective that is not hopeless in relation to the situation we find ourselves in, but rather we are in a position, I'm thinking here of non-Christian Jews of an apocalyptic strain, who have the means to cope with the detrimental evils in the world in which we live.
Shalom, I'm here to invite you to come with us on a journey of discovery into the Jewish context and culture that will forever change the way you read and interpret the Bible. As you slowly go through our self-paced, on-demand program in Jewish studies relevant for Christians, you will gain ability to discover the original meaning of the biblical texts. You will see the nuance hidden behind our best and faithful translations, and to interpret these ancient texts in their original meaning. At Israel Bible Center, we provide you with the state-of-the-art, simple-to-use technology. This way, you can study on your own from the comfort of your own home, even towards your certificate in the Jewish context and culture. This study will strengthen your ministry as you continue to serve God. We will guide you through our large collection of crash courses by our fascinating faculty and roundtable talks with leading world scholars. Our weekly Israel Bible magazine, as well as Israel Bible podcast that focuses on the land of Israel, will assist us along the way. We believe that the Bible does not need to be rewritten, but it needs to be carefully reread.
Click the link and register today to our wide variety of biblical courses.